All right, so this Knife Thoughts video is going to be another unboxing, and it is going to be of this knife, the Vosteed Nightshade. And Vosteed is a relatively newer knife brand coming out of China. And I believe I heard about them first on Instagram. They actually sent one of their kitchen knives to me, and I used it a bunch, still use it a bunch. Really liked it, and actually have given some as gifts. So just recently gave a Vosteed kitchen knife to my cousin as a wedding gift. But they had this Nightshade folding knife design, as well as they do have another folding knife design. Haven't gone to check it out, but they had this Nightshade in a limited edition. I didn't get a chance to check that one out, but they have this light version that is now out and available, and they were kind enough to send this along. So I'm really excited to check this out, in large part because if you watch my channel, you know I like traditional designs, and it is inspired by a traditional design. Speaking of inspired by a traditional design, here is a Civivi Kiwi Plus, which is inspired by a Japanese traditional design, the Kiradashi. But this Nightshade is inspired by a Taiwanese slash Chinese, but I believe Taiwanese traditional design, which is called the Shilin Cutter. Originally the Pachilin, I think is the name. I'm sure I'm not going to pronounce all of these correctly, and I apologize for not pronouncing them correctly, but it's a knife that has been made by the same family, which is, again, I'm sure I won't pronounce it correctly, but Gu-Ha, something like that. K-U-O is the first one there. But again, I'll put out a full review, probably an article on this knife, and have more information in there. But it's been produced by the same family for about 150 years, since the 1800s. And then this knife was designed by someone named Yue Dong. Again, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but they're actually very active in the Facebook group for Vosteed. And that's one of the things that I like about Vosteed, is they just have a really like kind of positive seeming attitude, outward, you know, PR or whatever. It's a very kind of positive Facebook group that they have for their brand. So I appreciate that. And I've corresponded with Corrine, who seems to be kind of the PR person or marketing person, and they were kind enough to send this along. So here is the box. You can see their logo is kind of a horse here. So this is a horse head with a V for Vosteed. See that? I'm not intentionally using my middle finger there. And then there's Nightshade Storm Gray G10. So I went with the gray version here. There's a black version also, but I will get this open. It is wrapped in plastic wrap here. Set that down, don't want to get it in the yard. And it looks like this is kind of a sleeve here, and you can, yep, slide the actual box out. So that's nice. Very nice seeming box to me. This is different than your typical box. Has an interesting design. This is embossed, so it's raised, and as you can see, shiny. So I like that. Now, how do I open this box? There we go. So this is actually metal. You can hear that there. So that's nice. It's a high quality box. And then inside you can see there is a zipper pouch. So always nice to have that, something to hold the knife in, or any other knife for that matter. You get a little, actually plastic card with the support. So it looks like there's a 120-day full money-back guarantee, which is pretty long. I mean, if you decide you just don't want it or whatever after 120 days, that's pretty long. And then return and replacement service. And, you know, I'm sure that they would fix any other problems. I don't know exactly what their full warranty is. Maybe it's in this. What is this? No, this tells you some specs. So I'll have to look into what the like long-term warranty is, if there is one. But you can see the model name is the Nightshade. Blade material is 154 cm, which is nice. It's actually 154 cm is an American steel. So 3.25 inch blade length, not huge, but not a small knife either. I would say smaller than I typically carry, but definitely, you know, within what I like. The blade style, they say kukri cutter. I think that that's kind of a mix. They say that it is, the design is based on a mix between a kukri and the shillin cutter. Has a flat grind, and then it is in Storm Gray G10. So nice packaging. I've talked, you know, about how packaging matters, and so I think that they did a good job of that. And let's open this up here. So there it is, and it's actually open. That's the first that I've ever seen that. I wonder if that happened with how I opened it or what, but it was open in there, so that's interesting. But let's see. So very gray, and a nice gray, actually smooth. There's no texturing to it really. It's matte, so it does, you know, have some, you know, texture to the feel of it, but it's not actually, you know, textured a whole lot with the machining. Interesting white collars around, and I think that that might be kind of a reference to the shillin cutter, which has a bolster. It's a traditional knife. It's a slip joint. So first of all, here it is very well centered. I would say perfectly centered. To my eyes, it looks pretty much perfectly centered. The clip is nice. It reminds me of some clip. I'm not sure which company uses a clip like that. The pivot does use a torque screw, but it has kind of a nice look to it. It looks, you know, kind of unique, different than normal. It's a flipper, and nice, you know, kind of open design there. There are two spacers, but they're at the end, and you can probably see inside that the liners are drilled out, so there's some weight reduction there. So let's flip this thing open, see how it flips. Very nicely, very, very nicely. Felt really solid. Oh, I like how it feels in the hand. I was wondering, you know, this has a really prominent downward angle of the blade. You know, if you take into account this angle of the handle and then the angle of the blade, it's a prominent downward or forward cant to the blade, as you might say, in traditional knives, in Western traditional knives. And I wasn't sure how it would feel in the hand, but it feels great, actually. Really good. Now, another thing I've mentioned on my channel is that I like a simple handle. I think a simple handle shape makes for an ergonomic handle because it fits, you know, a variety of hand shapes and grips. And this is a very simple handle. You can see a nice long curve and then a curve to the butt here. And I can get all 4 fingers on it. My pinky doesn't even really hang off at all. So it feels good in the hand, especially for a 3.25 inch blade. And they're getting, you know, a solid amount of blade into there too. It's not like it's, you know, not getting to the end of the handle. Let's flip that again. Flips really nicely. Definitely on ball bearings. There is an internal stop pin, and unlocked, no blade play. Feels really solid. Locked, no forward and back or side to side blade play. The lockup is good, so you can see locks up 40%, right where I like it, actually, right where I like lockup to be. Not too early, not too late. It does have, let me see how I can show that to you. It does have a cutout in the lock bar, and that's because it's a pretty solid thickness lock bar. You know, it is a liner lock, but that is not a thin lock bar at all. So as liner locks go, it should be pretty strong also. Yeah, I'm impressed with this. This is gonna do pull cutting really well. I feel like you could use this for cutting cardboard, you know, kind of draw cuts like that, as well as food prep. So I think that this is gonna be a really useful blade shape. I would call this almost like a leaf shaped blade. In fact, I think Spyderco, well, Spyderco has done a version of the shillin cutter, and it was in their ethnic series. I love knives like that are inspired by historical, ethnic, regional designs. I really like the Watu from Spyderco, and Spyderco has the whole ethnic series, but there's different brands that have done similar things, and I really, this is hitting me the right way. It looks nicely done. Like I say, I'll do either a full review or an article. I'm not sure, or both. I'm not sure which, or both. But I think I'm gonna put this one right in my pocket. I've got a lot of knives that I want to do reviews of. Oh, man, I'm really impressed with the flipping of that. The detent seems, it's nice and solid, but not like sticky. And then drop closed. Genuinely drop closed. There we go. So I think this is a nice knife. You can see that it says Vosteed Cutlery on there. Vosteed Nightshade. Maybe you can see that. Maybe it was just focusing on my face. Don't need to be that close to the camera, I guess, there. But I'm gonna put this right to use. It just feels like it's gonna be a great knife in use. I just kind of keep thinking of it. If there's anything that is sticking out to me as a negative, and there's not. The clip even is really low profile. I'm gonna put it in my pocket once here real quick. I want to make sure that I can get it into my pocket easily enough. Yep, no problem. Into, out of my pocket, and flip open. So first impressions are good on this one. So this is the Vosteed Nightshade, and I do have a link you can use, an affiliate link for Vosteed, and also some pretty cool coupon codes that they gave me specifically for the Nightshade. Basically, you can get $5 off the Nightshade or $20 off the Nightshade, plus they have a pry tool. So I'll put the details of that in the description, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on this new knife and this new brand, Vosteed. And definitely make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the bell, and select all, so you know when I post new videos like the full review on this. And then make sure you subscribe to the blog at knifethoughts.com in case I do post an article. And make sure you check out my social media. I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Knife Thoughts. And last but not least, as always, don't forget to go out and do good.